Welcome back, guys, to another episode on the TheSkitzMen podcast. Today we're going to be talking about workplace stress.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so this is something we all deal with in life, generally speaking. Some of us live our dream job, may not have the workplace stress, but some of us take our stress from work home. And we're just going to talk about our experiences with our work currently as well as in the past, and kind of what we did to mitigate that. So we work two different jobs, don't
Yeah.
we? Yeah, like completely different.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm in the office, in an office kind of environment.
Yeah, mine's sort of an office environment, but I'm not in that majority of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of the time, I'm outside, moving around, getting my steps in. But it's quite hard wearing because I'm carrying like a lot of shit with me.
Yeah.
Backpack, and if I need to take stock around with me, then I do that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so what causes stress for you at work, man? Oh, actually, hold on. Time out. How are you?
Yeah, mate. Good. Good. Yeah. Pushing on as always.
Yeah.
Just taking it one day at a time, to be honest. Nothing interesting has happened, nothing crazy.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Just day by day, as it should be. What about you?
Pretty much the same for me, to be honest. Not really much has been going on as of recent. Same old. Just carrying on.
Yeah. That's all we can do, innit?
Yeah, that's it.
Really?
I'm gonna sneeze.
May Jesus be with you.
Thank you, Lord. Right. So, yeah. So, what causes stress for you at work?
What doesn't cause me stress? Do you know what? It's a fairly straightforward job, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's very front of house, just meeting people, talking to people, very customer service based. So it is fairly straightforward. Um, it's quite a fast paced environment because a lot can change within a matter of minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm always in and out of like apartments, flats, that sort of stuff. So if I've already got quite a loaded day, and I'm all over the city. So they could basically just put me elsewhere at any given moment,
Right.
which can be quite stressful.
You have to travel from A to B
Yeah,
within a certain
exactly.
time or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's obviously on like a specific time frame. So if I've got like time critical tasks, which is like meeting a guest or like meeting an engineer, then I have to be there at a certain time, obviously before they arrive, so I can obviously meet them and check them in or meet the engineer.
Do the fun stuff. Yeah.
But sometimes stuff pops up randomly. So when they do that, it stresses me out because it's like I'm already busy and you're adding more stuff on that is going to make me go over.
Yeah.
But I think now the way that I deal with it is just is as easy as taking 5 minutes and just being like ranting about it to myself or whoever's around me,
Yeah.
and then just being like, well, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't change this.
Yeah.
So I just crack on with it, just get on with it. Don't really have a choice in the matter.
That's it. Yeah. As adults, we don't really have a choice. We have to get on with it.
Yeah, that's it. The day will end.
Mm-hmm. The day will start.
The day will start. The day will end the same way. Is as long as I get it done. If I'm not able to for whatever reason, then I say I'm not able to.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, it's just organization and time management. And to be fair, mine's pretty good as it is.
Yeah. I think you mentioned as well, like you have a structure to your days, don't you?
Yeah,
You have like a given structure, and that's what you mean. Like they add additional stuff on top of it,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
stress. Like that's just jarring.
It's just last minute, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just it's unnecessary. Like, if somebody books in for another guest to come in during the day
Mhm.
and they pass it on to my London team, then it's kind of like, great.
Great. Yeah.
Now we've got to pick this up and deal with it
Yeah.
and take it from there. And then it will probably fall on me or whoever's available at the time. So it can be quite fast paced. It does require a lot of moving around. But other than that, it's not much else to it, to be fair.
Fair enough.
What about you? What's your stress?
Man, my whole job is just a ball of stress. The things that we deal with, not really allowed to talk about it.
Yeah,
Um,
confidential thing.
yeah, so it's one of them ones where it's like it's just the nature of the job,
Mm.
you know? It's not really something in particular. It is just the nature of the
Yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I speak to certain people and certain people of certain statures and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it just basically puts me in a position where I don't like acting out a character. I
Yeah.
like being myself all the time.
Yeah.
And with my job, not to say that I have to put on a work face or anything, we all do,
Yeah.
but there's just a certain characteristic that I have to perform.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't, I have to like limit myself to certain terminologies. So there's a bunch of restrictions with the communication that I put across, which is kind of annoying for me. Basically, it makes me feel like I'm in a box and I can't be myself. I can't step out of this character that I've been told to play. And that's probably the worst part about it. But other than that, I wish I could say more about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't really say too much. But the things that I do, for me, I'm lucky. Like, I don't take any of my work home.
Yeah.
My work starts at a certain time and ends at a certain time, and I don't take none of it home. I feel sorry for my managers because they must take their stuff home. Yeah, and the chain of command is just endless, bro. So yeah, it is tough all across the board. But for me, I'm lucky. I don't have to take none of it home, so I'm good on that. But start my day, as I do. There's not really much I could say to try and like negate that.
Yeah.
Some people will mentally prepare themselves or do something. I don't. I don't have anything.
Yeah, I feel like loads of people that do work, especially in like an office environment, do tend to take work home with them. Not actual workload. So people that don't understand what we're on about like the problems, like work problems.
Yeah.
People do tend to take them home with them and dwell on it and just basically let it ruin their evening. And to be fair, I'm a victim, so I have a work phone and I take it home because I'm full time. So I take the phone home with me. So I still get, I still, I.
What are you laughing for?
Wait.
Bro, he's got a locker. I was about to sneeze.
Yeah. I just hear him make a noise, bro. I just hear him go.
Someone got a hold of him. The Holy Ghost.
I was trying to hold it in.
No, just let it go. If you lot aren't aware, we obviously can't do all of this by ourselves.
Yeah.
So we've got a godsend of a human being who's working the magic behind the scenes. You'll soon come to know of the magical things he does, and
On and off the screen.
yeah, you'll be a part of that. You'll be a part of that. Yeah. Yeah.
But back to it. Before I got rudely interrupted. I'm joking. No, but basically so I was a victim of that. So I take my work phone home and they send emails and messages because we work via Teams, all that sort of stuff.
Nice.
Just because I'm full time. So as a full timer, I take the phone home. But what I used to do is I would check how my day's looking the night before.
Okay.
And it would stress me out because sometimes it can be a very easy day where I'm literally in one place and I don't have much to do, or it's just a mad quiet day and stuff gets taken off, stuff happens, and it makes it a bit easier for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
But when it's busy and I know it's busy, I'll check where I'm at and I'm like, fuck, this is just long.
This is garbage.
This is just long, bro. So
Yeah.
I would literally like be pissed off the whole evening simply because I know where I'm going to be. I know what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah.
And it's just a mad busy day. So now I've taken that out of the equation. I don't do that anymore. Since I went on my since I went on my solo trip, I come back, I was like, fuck that. Why am I doing it? Why am I putting I'm basically, it's self-inflicted. I'm doing that to myself.
Yeah.
I'm making myself upset and angry. So now I get in 20 minutes early, as I always do anyway, 15, 20 minutes early, make my coffee and have a look through my day before I start at whatever time I start, because my shift pattern changes.
Yeah.
And it's relieved so much more stress. I mean, don't get me wrong, because I'll check it in the morning when I get to work and I'll still be pissed because I'm like, fuck, I've got to go here, this, there,
But
and the
then
other.
you don't have that feeling,
That lingering effect.
before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because it can change by the time I actually get into work. My whole day can change by the time. So I'd rather get into work not knowing where I'm at, just in case it does change. So then I can be like, okay, cool, this is where I'm going to be going, and then plan it out like that. Because I'd usually plan it out the night before and figure it out, but then it changes. So yeah, I'd rather not kind of do that. So I definitely have been a victim of it. But again, it's more self-inflicted.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. You know, don't put yourself in a position that you don't have to be in.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point in checking it when you can just look at it in the morning? It's not going to make much of a difference throughout your day, is it? That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Man, I wish I could be like that. I wake up, I get to work, whether I'm in the office or at home. I check my emails, look what the road is saying, and then I know what I'm doing for the day. But even then, things can change.
Well, that's it. Anything can change in a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, we've worked a couple of jobs ourselves. I mean, you probably more than me, but you know, other jobs haven't been like that. You know, it changes with each job. Each job is obviously completely different. And my previous job when I was in retail was a fair bit different. It was still quite fast paced, especially when it was busy. But dealing with like customers and like emails and suppliers and stuff like this can be quite overwhelming because there's so much going on that I've got to keep track of it all.
Yeah.
But then you lose track and you're like, oh, bollocks, like I've got this to sort out, I've got this to do and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, most of the jobs I've had are quite fast paced anyway.
Fair enough.
And I did used to take the stuff home and be pissed off at home and be like, oh, blah, this happened today and this. And now I just get home, load up my PC and I'm just,
You're just chilling.
just chilling, bro.
Yeah,
I
fair enough.
can't be bothered with the whole hassle of what happened during the day.
Yeah, that's fair enough, man. I used to be a swimming teacher, and that was proper rewarding work.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I loved it. You know, when you're teaching something, a skill so essential to life, learning how to swim.
Of course.
I've even taught adults in their moments where they are older and they've lived with that fear through childhood.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they're trying to break through that. And it's so rewarding because, especially in the adults, with the kids, bro, kids will do anything you tell them. As long as you're fun and joyful,
Yeah, yeah,
you can get across to them in many different ways. But an adult, they need specific attention. You know, I had trauma when I was 13. I fell into a pool and I almost drowned and I've never stood in water ever again. And most of these guys, they just want to go on holiday.
Yeah.
They don't want to be no fancy Michael Phelps doing butterfly across the ocean. They just want to be able to swim and enjoy themselves. Maybe swim with a glass in their hand, whatever it may be. And that was my goal with teaching adults. You have the serious adults who are like, no, I want to be able to swim laps. I want to be able to do 20 laps a day. It's like, but the majority of them just want to be able to go on holiday with the missus and the kids and actually swim and get them to enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
So it's a nice dynamic. It was good change. And there wasn't really a planning phase until you got to know the individuals,
Of course.
including the kids as well. Because certain kids respond differently, you know, we all learn differently. Kids are very much like a roller coaster. You got to switch it up and instant. But with adults, you have to be very specific. So especially with when you're working with them over months and months, you would sort of create a structured plan. And that would cause me stress because in certain times you'd have one half of the group showing up. You know, some of the adults would drop out because they're not feeling confident.
Yeah.
And, you know, they come back at a later point and they've missed out on so much. I have to catch them up to speed when the other adults are at a different level. And it creates this dynamic where it's like, I don't want to segregate you. I don't want to make you feel like you're not as good as these guys.
Yeah.
I want to still embrace you, and hopefully everybody else would. But it was a really stressful job, that, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you've done that for a long time as well, man.
Yeah, like 9 years, man.
Yeah.
It's rewarding, but it was so stressful.
Yeah.
And you want the best for everyone, but you take a lot on, you know?
Of course.
Imagine taking on someone's fear.
Yeah.
Trying to change them and shape them, you know?
Yeah, try and get them to overcome it. That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
That is tough. It's such a it's a very sensitive thing as well. So you're taking somebody's vulnerability and trying to like overcome it and basically get them to, you know, overcome it and change that so that they can work alongside it. So that's crazy, man.
There was no real stress reliever from that job.
Yeah.
Because it's a dangerous environment. So you're constantly under pressure.
Yeah.
You know, when you want to challenge someone and take them up to the next plate, it's like proper like anxiety inducing, bro. You get proper anxious, not just yourself, but you can feel the anxiety from them.
Yeah.
And it just rubs off on you, bro.
Of course.
And you get home and you're physically drained, mentally drained. And man, that job, like teachers who teach in a classroom, that's cool. It's still the same thing, mentally draining, physically draining. But teaching in a pool, man, bro, messing with people's fears, oh man, that comes home, whether or not you like it or not, you know, because they're gonna be texting you like, oh, it was a great lesson, but I don't think I'm going to come next week. I still, you know, because we tried to push them and they got scared.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
There's so many like boundaries and hurdles you got to jump over, but you want to break those boundaries down and give them the strength to jump over those hurdles. It's tough, man.
So what was the worst experience you had work-wise when you done that job? Like, did something crazy happen that made you be like, damn, like this is fucking crazy?
Yeah, I've had a few experiences like that. One experience which I had was where I had this kid who was clearly, you know, wanted to be the clown of the class, you know, ADHD type of behaviors.
Yeah.
And one time I tell everybody I'm very strict in my classes and they love it because I'm strict.
Yes.
You know, that's the way kids should be raised, structure. But this one kid just decided one day, I'm going to do a backflip into the pool because he can do backflips. He does a backflip and he doesn't leave the edge of the pool. And he basically does a backflip where he is, slips on his feet, lands straight on his chin, onto the edge of the pool, falls into the water. When he gets up, you just see blood go all over the place. Pool of blood in the water. All the kids are like, oh my God. The parents are like, oh my God, what happened? You're meant to be looking after my child. It's like, I told you.
It's a crazy responsibility though.
So
Sorry
much.
to cut you off. That's a crazy responsibility
much, man.
because it's like these parents have obviously paid for them to do lessons, right? But it's not your job to
police them.
and make sure that they're not going to do some stupid shit. I mean, kids will be kids.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, boys will be boys.
Word.
But if that kid is going to do some stupid shit, it's on them.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the same thing that our parents used to say, like, oh, if your friends jumped off a cliff, would you do it?
Yeah.
It's like
100% I would.
yeah, literally. Why not? But it's like, you know, if you went and done it, they would copy you.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But you say to them, don't do that. Half the time, they're still going to want to do it because they're kids.
Exactly.
And then you get the stick for it from the parents. Well, why don't you look after him?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I have been. He just didn't want to listen.
At that point, I told the parent of the kids, and it was just the mum at the time, and the dad showed up later, huffing and puffing. But I told the mum at the time, I was like, look, if he doesn't want to listen, he's not going to be in my class.
Yeah.
He's just wasted precious time for not just my lesson, but all the other lessons.
Other people,
that were going on in
other
the
people
pool.
that have booked and
Exactly.
yeah.
They have to decontaminate the pool.
Yeah.
They have to clear it out.
Yeah.
With blood, it takes hours.
Of
It
course.
takes hours. And obviously, he had to get stitches.
Yeah.
We had to bandage him up and then take him to the doctors, to the hospital, wherever it was. I didn't take him personally.
No, of course.
So yeah, that was a messy situation. That was one messy situation, and that stuck with me for ages because you just feel like I'm at fault, but I'm not at fault. It's not my fault.
No way.
But you just feel like you are.
Yeah,
you
of
know?
course.
It's
You
my
hold that because
responsibility at that time.
exactly. It's like you say, it's that responsibility that you feel you have
Yeah.
to be that role model in a sense for these kids and people.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you know, you're teaching them, you're taking them out their comfort zones for some of them at least. But with kids, it's a lot harder because they don't listen the majority of the time.
No, they don't. I mean, he was really good, but you know, like some days you can see where the kid's like, oh, he's gonna be annoying today.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be a bit much today. But there's other days where he's just bare tired and he just listens and does what he's told.
Yeah.
But that depends on what the parents are doing with him and what he's doing at
Well,
school.
of course, yeah. His
Yeah.
energy output, what he's putting his energy into to like calm him down. And that's the thing. Kids are unpredictable, man.
Yeah, massively unpredictable.
Kids are super unpredictable.
But
like, you have no idea.
Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing happened with an adult, and this is coming from an adult who drowned, and she drowned when she was in her 30s.
Okay.
And she was 50 plus
Yeah.
now. So she was getting back into it. And she was a timid, frail thing. She's terrified of the water, and she just wanted to be able to swim again, breaststroke, you know. She was breaststroking in the ocean, and she got so cold, you know. It was in winter. They do this stuff at Christmas. They go for a dive in the water or whatever.
Okay.
And she was a part of a group, and she was slacking behind, and she was just getting so cold, and a massive wave came over her, and she swallowed the water, and panic came
Of
over,
course. Yeah.
and she lost consciousness.
Okay.
Yeah, so she went unconscious for a while, and yeah, trying to get her back into it. She could swim, but the fact that she became timid and she became, she didn't have any willpower. Like she didn't have the strength to swim anymore. it was really hard. Anytime we'd be in the shallow pool, bear in mind the shallow pool for the adults would be up to here.
Yeah.
So they could stand, and when they float, they can swim.
Yeah.
But for all the rest of the group, I was taking them to the deep end. And all I was telling them to do is, what we're going to do is we're going to practice going under the water and just remaining calm. So I get them all on the edge of the pool, and I'd get them to hold onto the edge of the pool, and they'd go under. And I would just say, just try and stay under there as long as you feel comfortable, and then come back up.
Yeah.
And all I want you to do is focus on remaining calm.
Yeah.
As soon as she went under, she panicked and swallowed water again. We had to drag her out, and she coughed up water. Luckily, she didn't go unconscious, but she stormed off and she was shouting, and she was like, I'm never doing this again. I'm never coming back. I want a refund. It's like we've gotten so far,
Yeah.
you know, for you to give up now is like the worst thing to do.
Of course.
But she didn't give up in the end. She was just terrified.
Of course, 100%. It's a traumatizing experience.
That was one thing. But what happened after that is she came back, and she came back stronger.
Okay.
You know, like when we're skating,
Yeah.
they say when you fall, that's it. Now you're going to skate properly.
Yeah.
You know? You take a good slam, and now you're going to skate properly.
Yeah.
You land everything from that point. And I think that's what happened with her. So yeah, that was a terrifying thing. And it's, again, I think you feel more responsible for adults than you would for kids.
Yeah.
Because kids are unpredictable. Adults are as predictable as
Yeah.
anything. You know what their tendencies are. But that was probably one of the most stressful experiences. The kid one was fine because kids do that all the time.
Yeah, man.
Hurt themselves.
They
They get back
man.
out. But adults, that's a brand new wall.
Yeah, this is what I told parents in the in the shop that I worked at. Kids bounce, man. And like, we get so many parents come in and be like, like, I want to get him into this, but I'm not too sure. Like, I want to get him into skate, but I'm not too sure. I'm scared, this, that, the other. And I'm like, look, you come into the shop, so clearly you want to make them happy, right?
Yeah.
But you've got to understand, kids bounce. Kids are meant to be, at that age, are meant to be throwing themselves around and hurting themselves, so they condition themselves for when they're older. But also they learn how to fall with a sport like this, because Sarah's like, I see people flying off their boards and hurting themselves and breaking stuff. Yeah, but it would take a kid like 6 weeks to heal a broken bone, whereas an adult, you're looking at 3 months.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
So make the most of it now while you can.
Exactly.
Let them hurt themselves so they learn how to fall. They understand that, like, falling and hurting yourself is okay. It's about getting back up to actually work on it and like be better and do better and like keep trying, don't give up, so that they have that mentality with every aspect in their life.
Yeah.
You know, it's building them up from a young age to do that.
Yeah.
And
it goes a long way.
It
goes a long way.
Of course, man.
In many other aspects in their life as well. But
Exactly. Like, but some parents are so scared.
Yeah.
And I get it, of course.
That's their baby, innit? It's their little papa.
Yeah. But
yeah.
just let them do it. Let kids be kids. That's the way I see it.
Exactly.
Don't hold them back. Let them do their thing, because then you're going to coddle them the whole time. And then when they do go out, they do get older and they get hurt and they're not able to deal with it as well as they could have, it's going to take longer for them to get over it.
Yeah.
It's true. Right?
It's true.
So that's what I always said to them. And I think, again, it's the same thing with work. It goes back to work. It all goes back to the kind of same core aspect of it, where it's like, you go to work to make your money. You go to work to make your livelihood. You're going to get managers shouting at you, telling you all of this next business that you don't need to hear. You're stressed out. But that's not going to stop you from doing what you need to do. You're going to push through and do it because that's what you're there to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to let it stop you.
Yeah, true.
Because you're a grown-up. You've got responsibilities. You've got stuff to do. You've got things, people to see. You want to go out and do. So you want to go on holiday. You need a job. You need the money. So you do what you need to do. You know, you get knocked down, you get back up again. Never going to keep me down.
I get knocked down. Yeah, no, it's true, man. I think a lot of people put themselves in a shell from that point as well. You know, like where, you know how you as a kid, some kids they react and they just completely close off and they don't speak to anybody. As an adult, you deal with your work stuff. You just put your head down. You get on with it.
You have no choice.
Yeah, sometimes that ends up sort of transponding. Is that how you say it? Going into your real life. Transposing.
Yeah.
Transposing, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, big
One
word,
of them
word.
transferring words.
Yeah.
Right, you're gonna do it like that.
Yeah, like, you know, you'd take that home. You'd have an issue at home and you'd also just turn off.
Exactly. And I think that's the kind of main point we're trying to make. Don't take your work problems home. Simply because if you do that, it's gonna if you're in a relationship or you're in any form of, you know, intimate relationship or whatever it is, family, you take your work stuff home, it gets in the way.
Yeah.
Because then you're not actually turning off. You're not actually, you know, allowing yourself to relax. Your back is still up because you get home. How was your day at work, babe? Ah, blah blah blah. Is this, that, the other, this, that, the other, and you start going off, and then they get into that position where they're like, well, you know, they give you some alternative options to try out,
Yeah.
and you don't decide to take it because that feeling of being angry about it is a good feeling because you feel like, oh, I'm angry, so I'm letting it out of my system, so I feel good.
Yeah.
But that's not the case because then it makes it harder for you to communicate with your partner or whoever it is, and you're not actually working on the problem.
True.
You're just
True.
taking it home and taking it out on them.
True.
And you don't want to do that.
What type of jobs do you think are like, obviously if someone does music for a living and that's their passion, you can't really have stress at work, but I'm sure you can.
Oh, of course you
Like,
can.
we know, what is it? Nat, she's what, a professional
Like engineer.
engineer. She's a professional engineer. And I think she's mentioned some stressful parts.
Yeah, she loves her job, man.
But yeah, she loves
She
it.
loves her job,
Yeah.
and it's a great fucking job. Like, she's a great engineer. She's worked with some big people, but of course, it's gonna have its stresses. You can work your dream job. Doesn't matter whatever your dream job is. You can work your dream job, but you're still gonna have stress.
Yeah.
Whether it's time management, organization, no communication, you know, finishing late, like you're still gonna have stress.
Yeah.
Because that's just how we are as people. We, you know, get overwhelmed and we turn it into stress, we turn it into anger. So you're gonna get stressed, but you're gonna have more. If you're working your dream job, you're gonna have more good days than you are stressful bad days.
True.
Is the way I see it.
True.
So you won't get stressed as often, but you will still get stressed when you feel the need to, or you feel like it is too much.
Yeah.
Because it's work at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's right.
Ideally, if we could work and if we could have money and not have to work, we would do it.
Oh yeah, I would.
Right?
But if I could have a couple
Even if
M's in the bank.
Exactly. Even if you
chilling.
worked your dream job, you would rather just take the money and not have to do the job.
True.
But the harsh reality of it is you need to work to make money.
True.
So you do the job that you need to do.
True. No, I hear it. It's kind of paradoxical, isn't it? You
In a sense, yeah.
can't live without the other.
Exactly.
Yeah, comes with the good, comes with the bad.
That's just work though, and I think most people. But then it also comes down to one of the topics we spoke about before about people seeing it as an easy way to get in. So like, you know, with the whole saturation of like the music industry, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
People are like, okay, cool. This person here has made all this money and has got this fame from making music and releasing one song, blah. But obviously they didn't see what they went through beforehand, all the stresses that they've gone through. So then they work towards that and they might get to that point, but then they'll be like, rah, why is this shit so stressful? Why am I so stressed? Why is this little thing pissing? Because you don't see what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You see this person take off, and people just need to learn that like work is stressful and it will always be stressful.
Yeah, it's just about managing it and dealing with it.
It's about having that balance.
Yeah, like finding ways for you to deal with the whole environment of coming into work and knowing that your job's gonna be a bit iffy on the day.
Yeah.
It's better to just go in on the day and like not have any expectations or know what's gonna happen, kind of thing.
Exactly.
I feel sorry for those in really high positions, unless you're running your own company.
Yeah.
That's a choice you've made.
Yeah.
But being put in a position like, I don't know, operational manager, whatever it is.
Yeah, them positions that are crazy.
Bro, honestly, like there's managers in my department, bro, I work my time and I clock out and I'm done. And I hear stories about managers in my department who get calls at certain times at the night talking about so and so forth. We need to do this, we need to do that now. But my work is based on people, you know, specific scenarios.
Yeah.
So it's intense, bro.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that.
Nah.
If that was me, I don't care.
I mean, if the money was right, I probably would. But, you know, if I'm on call bloody 24/7, I'd be a bit pissed off.
Yeah, for 50 G's.
Nah. Operational manager, I'm saying minimum 80.
Yeah, minimum 80. Easy.
Run me that.
Yeah, trust me.
Run me that.
You want me to
boy.
be available for 24 hours of the day? Yeah, calm.
Yeah, run me another 10 on top of that 80.
Yeah, trust. Bonus at the
Yeah,
end of the
yeah.
year. Yeah, yeah.
Run
Bonus at the end of the month. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. End of the month, end of the week. Just give me that bonus of 10.
I want a
right
lump
now.
sum every single second.
Just add it on. Just tally it up.
Yeah.
But it's facts though. You've got them high pressure jobs and like operational managers, stuff like that is very, very intense. Like I've got it at my place. But honestly, it's about how you balance it. And it's like I was saying to you earlier, I was speaking to one of my colleagues who's now left. And even he was like, why am I like, he was like, I love the job. It's easy. I get it. I understand it all. But why am I getting stressed out over stuff I can't fix?
Yeah.
And then I'm taking it home and whinging about it and talking about it and doing this, that, the other. Why am I taking my work home with me when it's at work? I will deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how we all should be. You shouldn't take your work home. Just deal with it the next day.
Yeah, man. As it comes, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
And I think the flow of life depends on that. A lot of people who, well, I don't know if people watch Friends, but you know, our generation kind of grew up with a bit of Friends.
Yeah.
Generation before us was very much into it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a episode where Phoebe, she's a chilled out character. She does nothing. She goes with the flow. But before that, you know, in this alternative universe, she was a stockbroker. She was stressed out all the time, doing work, bang, bang, bang. And eventually she had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of changed her. Usually it takes us the dramatic side effect for us to be like, rah, I need to change what I'm doing. I need to change my mindset. And most people get to that point when they're almost at retirement. Bro.
Yeah.
I don't want to be working my job, being stressed out to the point where I almost kill myself before I get to enjoy my life.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
That's kind of how I work though, which is mad. Like when I think about it, throughout, I mean, I've been working since I was like, what, 16, 17. And I'm big age of late 20s now. And mid 20s.
All right.
not
Not up to my level, but yeah.
But I've been working since I was young. So that's all I know. I'm hardwired to work. So I don't really have breaks. And when I do, I enjoy it. Of course, I take the time out. I go and do things. You know, I'm not a bloody freaking worker 24/7. But I've worked a few jobs and I've held them down. But throughout the whole of uni, I've worked. You know, I'm in uni 3 days a week, but I'm working 5 days.
Yeah.
How's that? Do the math.
Yeah.
That doesn't add up. So I had to sacrifice a day of uni so I could actually work.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, I was getting student loans, but I still needed the money to survive.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's bloody expensive. But all I know is work. So, and this also goes back to another episode where, like, when I wake up, I represent myself. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I represent myself no matter what. Because if I'm going to work and I'm not my full self, people notice.
Yeah.
And then that affects my workflow and that affects their workflow. And this has happened quite a lot kind of in the previous months, in like the last year or so, where I've just not enjoyed my job as much as I did. It's just become more of a burden. It's kind of worn me down a lot more. So I just work myself to the bone. I work myself till I feel worn down. And I shouldn't be doing it, but this is just how I work, because then I take a nice little break off.
Yeah.
And I would go into work negative, man. Like, I'd be super pissed off for no reason whatsoever. No reason. I'll just go into work mad vexed. And it's like, why? And people notice. There's loads of people I work with and they notice. And they won't say anything to me. But they'll obviously be nice to me. And they'll be friendly with me. But obviously I'm very like blunt and just not really, just not really caring too much. And then obviously I found myself a bit more and I started coming to work. The sun started coming out. I started going to work a bit more positive. And yeah, they said like, oh, you're seeming a bit more chipper these days. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm in a good place.
Yeah.
And I'm like, normally I know when you see me majority of the time, I'm in like a fucking mood or like I'm pissed off. And they're like, yeah, it's hard to like communicate with you. I'm like, I know, like I don't mean to do it. It's just stuff has happened that's out of my control. And I've allowed it to overrule me.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, I go to work, I do my time, and then I go home. And that's it. And then I worry about the next day when it comes.
it's hard to not have it affect you, isn't
Of
it?
course, it's tough,
It's
man.
tough, man.
It's so tough.
People who take shit all day long and they're just happy and smiley. Wow.
It's
Strong,
hard, man.
strong ass individual.
It's hard, and it's been difficult moving into this position that I've been moving into with the whole mindset and like perspective side of things with the positivity I'm trying to achieve. It's been hard transitioning over into that without still being negative in a sense. Don't get me wrong, I still am sometimes when I get annoyed or I'm upset or I'm angry or whatever it is, or I'm stressed out. But I don't let it, like I said, I don't have that thing where it just destroys my whole day. I rant about it for 5 minutes and then I'm just like, cool, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't change that.
Yeah.
Skip on to the next, because I know the day's going to end.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I think that's why it's good to have a good circle around you after work, you know, to take your mind off of it. A lot of the time when I was working multiple jobs in my old, when I was living outside of London, the only thing I could do was go home and, you know, at that point I had my dog and, you know, my ex-missus at the time, and we weren't on the best of terms all the time. So it was a stressed environment and I was mentally drained, bro.
Stressed at work and stressed at home, man.
Yeah. I mean, it passes over because once you get into that cycle of just constantly being negative, it's hard to get out of it.
It sticks, bro.
Yeah, bro. It's so hard. It's like, it's almost inviting.
Yeah.
You know, it's a company and it needs you to be there with it. You know?
It feels familiar.
Yeah, exactly.
And it feels good, because what's a better feeling than being pissed off at everything and everyone?
Yeah.
You know?
Proper empowering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody talks to you.
Yeah.
Nobody says anything to you. Just by yourself. That's what I want.
Yeah. It's a form of control. Yeah. But it's a false form of control because you're not even in control of your own self.
Exactly.
It's kind of sad when you think about it.
Of course.
Yeah. But
of course.
I realized that I was working multiple jobs and I needed to slim that down. And bear in mind, I'm doing one job now and I'm earning way more money than I ever was working multiple jobs.
Yeah.
Working myself to the bone and then working myself just a normal 9 to 5. And I'm earning more. I mean, my stress levels are a lot lower, but I think there's other factors that fall into that too.
Oh, yeah, of course. There will always be something new that stresses you out, but that's just the way of life. It's just about handling it and just handling your business and just cracking on with it. Identifying the problem and being like, this is what's making me stress, but not allowing it to overrule you.
Yeah,
As easy as that.
Exactly. I think a lot of the time I'm finding like every week we usually go skating.
Yeah.
Hadn't done this week.
Yeah.
Because the weather was kind of not nice and I don't think anybody was really free for it.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, which I like to do, taking the mind off work, a bit of exercise as well as go into the gym, finding myself a nice series or game to indulge myself into just to lose myself out of that mindset. Because it's like the world wants you to be, because it's your life, innit? You have to work, you have to do this, you have to do that. So it just drags you back in.
Of course.
And for those who are self-employed, good on you.
Yeah. Lucky.
Yeah. But you're working hard, so it's good.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, and honestly, I think for those who are self-employed and you're doing your own thing, you've got a certain mentality about yourself that is inspiring for others. But not everybody's in that luxury currently.
Yeah.
And it's not a luxury, don't get me wrong.
Not everybody gets to wake up at 9 a.m. and then finish work at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then that's it. They done.
Yeah, just setting up an environment or something, you know?
No, kudos though. Like it's tough, man,
It
because
is.
you've got to deal with everything yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like you are the boss.
Yeah.
But
You
then
got
I guess that's
everything.
what everybody wants to be, though.
Yeah. But some people don't want that, you know?
Yeah.
They want the idea of it. They want
Yeah.
the idea of being in charge. They want the idea of having this, you know, commandment. But really and truly, they want to work under someone.
Yeah.
They want to follow.
Because then they don't have to.
They don't have to think. They don't have to do.
Yeah.
But I find once you find what you really like, that fulfillment of doing what is required for yourself, for your goal,
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
You can't ask for something better
Yeah,
than
you
that.
can't. Yeah, man. I
You know?
think it's a great feeling. I mean, I'm still looking for that. But I mean, you got to think though. Most people that have like created something of themselves and found their purpose, especially within like the kind of like fame side of things. I mean, look at the Colonel Sanders who found the case. It was like what, 65 when he done it.
Yeah, true.
40, 45, 65, one of the majors there.
Yeah, he was old.
He was old.
Yeah, he
Well,
was getting on.
Yeah, he's getting on.
He was getting
yeah, he's getting on. Like, but that's the thing though. You don't have to be 20 and
at that level.
at that level.
Yeah, exactly. I
You've
think
got time, bro. Take your time.
A lot of people want that instant gratification, but majority of the time, people our age want that instant gratification, but they don't want to put the work in.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine. You're young. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to do whatever you want, but it doesn't mean that, you know, the world is at fault for the decisions you've made, you know? But yeah, I want to be at that point. You know, I want to be at that point where I'm doing stuff for myself, and you know, you get a certain fulfillment from it, and that's my desire at the moment. Just looking for stuff that is fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
And as much as I try to avoid talking about work, it's a part of my day-to-day life.
Well, that's it.
You know?
Exactly. It does become your day-to-day. I mean, like, there was a great example of somebody not allowing his workplace stress to get over him, and he just quits job. Just quits job, bro. Guy in America, right?
Is that the guy you're
Yeah.
talking about? The
guy with the cat. Cashed in his 401k.
Yup.
Right? He had a great job. Bearing in mind, he's like 25, maybe even younger, right? Cashed in his 401k and was just like, do you know what? I'm gonna get a sailboat and I'm gonna fucking sail across the world with my cat.
Yeah.
And enjoy my life instead of allowing this corporate job. I made good money. I was on a great salary, but this just isn't for me. This environment isn't for me. I want an easy life. So I'm going to sail from here. He just reached Hawaii like yesterday. Yeah. He finally reached Hawaii. It took like a month, give or take.
Bigger.
But fair play, bro.
Yeah, fair
like,
play.
do what you need to do. But like, there are loads of ways, especially loads of ways countries have like sorted out the kind of stress levels and bringing them down, right?
True.
So I read something a while ago. This was not a long time ago, but a few years back. Japan, right? Their stress levels were crazy from the work environment, crazy to the point where like the suicide rates were super, super high.
Yeah.
Just because it was a high pressured environment. And what they did was to bring that number down, they installed blue lights on the public transport. Because obviously they say like blue light is more of a calming thing, so it kind of calms you down. But what people would do in Japan is they would take their work stress home with them.
Yeah.
But it will drive them to the point where they would commit suicide. Right? That's why they had the suicide forest.
Yeah.
Where Logan Paul ended up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sadly he didn't end up.
Well, no.
But,
Well, yeah. But you saw people in there that are in corporate suits, all of this sort of stuff. They would literally finish work and go there to kill themselves.
Yeah,
which is
tough.
Which is mad. So they implemented this thing where they put blue lights on the trains, buses, that sort of stuff, to reduce stress levels so that people wouldn't go that far, and it would just calm them down. And I think that's a cool idea, and it did bring the rates down. To be fair, it did change quite a fair bit.
Yeah,
and I think that's really interesting because, I mean, it depends on what job you do, but majority of the jobs that we're going to do are going to be stressful.
Yeah,
especially if you don't enjoy doing it.
It's true. And, you know, especially if you're working underneath someone, you're not necessarily working for yourself. You've been given tasks and you have to achieve them. But little fun fact for everyone, Japan may have blue lights to calm down their citizens, but certain places in the UK have purple lights so that people don't do heroin in the streets. Anyway, moving on.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Purple lights, you can't see your veins. So, yeah, you can't do.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Damn it.
But another interesting thing as well that I found, which was massive over in, I think it was Japan again, because it's such a high pressured work environment. People like teachers and like people in the public sector would microdose heroin to calm down. So they wouldn't do enough.
Such a big factor.
They wouldn't do enough that it would like fuck them up, but they would do enough that it takes the edge off. Like after work, they would go home and just do a tiny bit of heroin to calm down, so that they're not like fucking stressed out the whole time. And they would do this every night and then go to work the next day fine. So they're doing small amounts so that it doesn't affect them, but it's like it takes that edge off to a point where they're like, okay, cool, I can relax now. You know how some people go home and they'll smoke a spliff, or like, you know, they'll have a drink or whatever to just over there, they'll do like tiny micro doses of heroin.
That's interesting.
Which is crazy. And it's a big thing. Like, I'm talking teachers, bro, like in primary school. Like, yeah. But because it's so small, it's not enough to mess them up for the next day.
Yeah.
They will be able to go in fine. It will just help them take the edge off and sleep, reduce the stress, and then they go in the next day and they're fine. Now, this wouldn't be every day, but this would be the times where they're feeling extra stressed. You know? And I just found that very interesting now.
Hop a little heroin, you know.
Just do a little bit of Heza, mate. Just a little bit of smack. You'll be all right.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I think that there's another, I can't remember where it is, but I think they were doing tests across a couple of places in Europe as well as in a couple of corporations in the US where they would implement a 4-day
I was literally
work
about to
week.
say that. Yeah.
And that's a great idea.
It's a brilliant idea.
Productivity went up through the roof. People's morale went up through the roof.
Of course.
Everyone's a bit happier. They got an extra day to spend with their family. And and businesses didn't technically lose out.
No.
It's a win-win situation across the board. And personally, I think we should implement it here.
Hint, hint.
Yeah. In the UK, I think it would be a great idea.
Well, they've trialed it, I think, in a couple of places in the UK.
They have?
Yeah. I think there's like a couple of small companies that have trialed it.
Yeah.
And it does work. I don't get. This is the thing. Companies are like, oh, we need to maximize efficiency with as little resources as possible, right? So they just streamline their fucking workforce and just work them to the bone. You're going to be doing 12 hours, fucking 5 days a week. And it's like, brother, I'm working more hours than I should be.
Yeah.
Like really and truly, like me, my shifts are changing. So I'm going to be doing 11-hour shifts now. But my rota's all a bit kind of all over the place. But I'm going to be doing 11-hour shifts, but I'm going to get 4 days off. No, 3 days.
4 days on, 3.
To be fair, I don't even know how it's working right now. But I'll get an extra day off. I'll get an extra like 4 days off a month. So an extra day off a week, essentially. Which is cool. But 11 hours of work is long, bro.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Taking into consideration the travel time to and from work, moving around, and if I've got to stay late and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to be a bit more stressed than I need to be. But it's just one of them things.
Yeah, your job is difficult, man.
Yeah, man. I'm moving around a lot, bro.
Yeah,
like
it's a stress not only on your mental, but your
The
physical as
man.
well. It takes a lot out of you.
And there's times I didn't even get lunch either.
Yeah, that's
And you know, I'm moving around a lot as
so
well.
you need the energy. You need to consume to continue that energy, bro. For me, I'm not moving around at all.
Yeah.
I'm in one place, and that really bothers me.
Yeah.
You know, like I need to move around. I need to do something with my hands or something. Anyway.
Snips the toilet, mate.
Yeah, but like, it's a similar thing in my job now where I work in one department, but I do 3 departments' jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I work alongside an additional department, additional 2 other departments. So the complexity of my work has just gotten massive, and they expect quality to stay the same.
Yeah,
It's impossible, bro.
Of course.
You can't push people to a certain level and expect quality to stay the same.
Yeah. But it's either you push me to that level and quality is going to drop, or you put me back on what I was on and the quality will be great in that section.
Yeah.
Don't do too much because you're not going to get it
Yeah.
to the level that you want.
I've come to understand about myself because of this. You know, it's all a learning experience. I've come to understand that I'm not a jack of all trades.
Of course.
I'm good at a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
get me wrong, but like I'm a perfectionist. So if I'm doing one thing, I'm gonna do it great. If I'm doing multiple things at the same time, how am I meant to do it great? I can't be a master. You know what I mean? But I'll have to do things one at a time for it to be excellent.
Yeah.
But with my job, it's impossible. It's impossible. You have to do 1,000 things at 1,000 times, speak to 1,000 people at 1,000 times while someone's trying to contact you and you're contacting them and contacting another department just to get something. Anyway.
You see me?
Anyway.
I do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
The bare minimum. See, brother, you're going to pay me, yeah? You're going to pay me the money you're going to pay me. Yeah, I'm going to do the bare minimum. If you're going to expect me to go above and beyond, I'm not going to do it, bro. Because you just treat me like shit anyway. So I'm just going to fucking do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
You treat your workers like shit. Expect shit work in return.
Yeah.
I
tried to
easy
do
as
that. Yeah, I tried to do that. I got penalized for that.
Well, I mean, yeah, they do. I mean, they're like, oh, yeah, your work performance is
Your work performance is
oh no, well, fucking pay me more then, innit? And I'll be more entitled to work more. But no, I mean, like, obviously I do the work that I need to do because I can't really do the bare minimum, seeing as I have tasks to do.
Yeah.
So I can't really do the bare minimum because I have to do what they've given me anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously, if I always try to look for a little way to make it a bit easier on myself, but
We'll smooth that out.
yeah, exactly. That's it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But I've always been like that, though. You know, you work smart, not hard. It's as easy. Try and make it easy. And this is what I say to all the new starters at every job I've worked at. make it easier for yourself. Don't make it feel easier for others. Obviously, you can help others out. May Jesus be with you.
Thank you.
Always make it easier for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's working as well.
Yeah, true.
You can go out your way and make it easy for the next person, but obviously if you've got something tough that's going on, make it easy for yourself. Cut a few corners. Do what you need to do. You'll learn how it works. Figure it out.
Yeah, true. True. I think it's a good idea. Everybody should look for the smarter way of working, not the harder way.
100%.
Like Jim from The Office.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it,
Yeah.
But he does the minimal work, but he does enough to get by.
Exactly.
And makes it easy for him.
Of
And he can
course.
just chill.
Yeah, exactly. You
Don't be a Dwight. Don't be a Dwight.
Yeah. Don't be a freaking Jobsworth. Make it it's people like you running this economy into the ground.
Yeah, honestly, man.
No, but real talk though, like obviously, going off topic a bit there, but just make it easy for yourself, man.
That does reduce stress, though.
Yeah. Just do what you can. Don't do more. I don't even know how to word it.
I know what you're trying to say.
Do you know what I mean? Like, don't do
overdo
too
it.
much.
Don't
Yeah,
overdo it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. Don't.
I used to think that you have to. You're young. You're coming into the
Nah.
workforce. You're like, oh, I want to make a name for myself. I want to prove my place. I want to show my worth, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, that don't
Unless you're in your dream corporate job that you want to do, then fairs, do that, of course, 100%. But if you're in retail, you're in this, that, there's no point.
Yeah, this ain't JP Morgan.
You know the ones.
You know what I mean? You're
This
working
ain't
in
Morgan Stanley.
You're in Debenhams. You're working in Morley's.
Zara. You know the ones there. You're in Primani.
Yeah, trust.
You're in Mackey's. You put my fries in the bag, bro. No, I'm joking.
I want a refund.
This don't spite my burger.
Where's the burger? I ate it, but I want a refund.
Oh man. No, but real talk though, like everybody's right. We've all worked shit jobs.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
we
We've
have.
all worked stressful.
What's the worst job you've worked? Go on.
Oh man.
Give us the deeds.
Do you know what? Majority of my jobs have actually been all right. Like genuinely.
You know what? Funny you say that. That's actually kind of true.
Like majority of my jobs have actually been okay. I think the job that I'm doing now is probably one of the hardest ones, simply because it's just moving around a lot.
Yeah.
And at my old age, I can't be doing that as much.
Yeah.
And falling to pieces.
Yeah.
You know? But they've all been all right. Like management have always been all right. Obviously, we worked at the toy shop years ago.
Yeah.
We worked
talking years ago.
I was like 17.
Yeah, bro.
We worked at the skate shop. That was a piece of piss.
Yep.
You know, and there'll be a few others that can agree. Yeah, man, I've done a couple of jobs, but honestly, they've actually all been all right. I think
Fair
this job I'm in now is probably one of the most stressful, just in terms of like time management.
Yeah.
But luckily, I'm good with my time management,
Mm.
and I'm able to work around it.
Yeah. True. I think that's something that you learn on the job and you got good at it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, my time management has always been quite good. I hate being late to places.
Me too.
Like,
Me too.
I mustn't stand it.
Me too.
If I'm late, I get stressed.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
If I'm late to work, I'm stressed for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, fuck, how am I late?
I feel like
how
I'm
am I
rushing.
late? I left at the right time.
Yeah. I get to work an hour early. When I'm in the office, I get to work an hour early just so I can coast.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, I don't need to go in an hour early. I could get there at 10 before I start, but nah, I like to get there, put my stuff down, go get a coffee, go use the toilet, watch some videos, chill out, and then boom, my day starts. You know what I mean?
What videos you watching in the toilet, bro?
I ain't watching no videos in the toilet. What are you talking about? It's just YouTube Premium. Something else that's premium. No, but that's the way I run. Man.
I hear it. But an hour's too early, man. Getting into work an hour early. Yeah, buddy, you're smoking something different.
I
That's
like
crazy.
I like it, bro.
I do 20 minutes, maybe max half an hour.
Yeah. Do you know what it is for me? I don't like people. So if I come into the office 10 minutes before my shift starts, I'm like, morning,
Nah, 10
morning.
10 minutes is too little, man. I'd say like half an hour, 20 minutes is a good sweet spot, because it gives you enough time to actually get in, make your coffee, sit down and drink your coffee, scroll through whatever you need to, check how your day's looking or whatever, and then actually settle in. Whereas if you're coming in 10 minutes, it's like, bro, you might as well just start your shift.
Yeah, true.
You know, just put your stuff away, go start your shift.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Go sit at your desk, bro. Like,
Yeah, nah, I can't do that.
Nah,
I don't want to say hi to anyone. If I get there
I hear
first,
it.
then everyone says hi to me.
Yeah.
I don't have to say hi back to you. Yeah. Oh, morning. Yeah, morning. Sorry, what was that? Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah. I got headphones in. I can't hear you.
It's like when you're asking for a check. Just mouthing it to him.
Yeah, literally.
Same thing. It's like it's moving like it's ASMR.
Yeah. Nah,
But it's real though, man. I feel like people underestimate. But you know what? The mind is a lot stronger than we think.
100%. Yeah.
Because you can go into work not pissed off, essentially. You just go into work not pissed off.
Mm.
And this is what I've realized.
Yeah.
Because I've been so used to going into work pissed off, I've now gone into work not pissed off. I'm like, right, it's that easy.
It's that easy. It's literally that easy, guys. It's a switch. You can turn it on and off.
Literally,
you know?
just go into work not pissed off. It's that easy.
Yeah. I had a pretty stressful couple weeks ago. I had to go in every single day of the week, and I was doing certain trainings.
No. Like I don't, like I'm not on that every week, bro.
Okay, I didn't read the room. I didn't read the room.
Corporate worker.
I didn't read the room. Yeah. But no, there was tasks that I needed to do throughout the day, and like, it was a bit annoying because by the first week, my goals were all clean.
Yeah.
But it was mandatory that I filled in the second week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, just to make sure that everything's up to scratch, because shit's getting rough at work now, man. It is rough.
It's a busy period, man.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, man, I think I literally went through the exact same thing. I was going into work pissed, like, oh, screw this, screw that. But what's the point, man? What's the point? I was chilling. By the second week, I was like, yeah, it's fine now. I'm used to this.
Because then the week after, you'll be back to your normal routine. I think as well, like, you've also got to be quite considerate for the people around you.
Yeah,
And
true,
that's one thing I had to step back and change and like look at, because it's not just like I'm angry at everybody, but I'm also angry at myself because I'm angry.
Yeah.
It's like, why am I pissed off over something I can't change, but yet I can't stop being angry?
Yeah.
But then I go into work and I'm angry, and then everybody else is trying to have a good day,
Yeah.
and I'm just pissed off and I ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be doing that shit anymore, because it's peak, man.
It's true. It's true.
It's peak.
It's true. The perception that you give for other people really does impact everyone.
This is what I mean. And it's like I say, I represent myself in a way, but if I represent myself in a negative way, people are going to see me as a negative person.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I don't seek validation, but you don't want to work with somebody who's negative.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it brings
wanna
you
work
down.
Exactly.
Because then you don't know if you've done something wrong,
Exactly.
or whether they're just pissed off at everybody. But then it doesn't matter at that point, because you're already pissed off that they're pissed off.
Yeah, it puts this animosity in the environment.
Yeah,
It's just
man,
like,
feel it.
yeah, it's just not necessary.
Yeah.
Funny you say that. Like, this is not really work related, but when I used to live in Eastbourne, there used to be this crackhead, and he was just the happiest crackhead ever. And you know what? All the other crackheads looked up to him because he was so happy with that.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, they weren't. And everybody helped him out because he was just a happy crackhead. And the police would stop him and they wouldn't charge him because he was a happy crackhead.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can learn a lot from that fucking crackhead.
Yeah, he's happy.
He's happy.
Do you know what? It's funny you say that as well, because I was at work the other week, and the sun was shining. I finished my day early, and I was walking back to the office. I was like, do you know what? Let me grab a coffee from Pret on the way home, on the way back to the office. So I walk in there. I got my sunnies on. I walk in there. Brer stood behind the counter. How you doing, sir? I was like, I'm good, brother. Like, it's a good day. And he fed off that energy real quick. I see the way he switched up as well. I walked in and he wasn't standoffish, but I could tell he was like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
But as soon as I walked in with that energy, switched, bro. And I loved it. It was great. And he was just like, oh yeah. He's like, you know what? I'm doing good, man. Blah, blah, blah. And he was chatting and he was like, so like, what's your plans for the weekend? Like, you're gonna be off this, or you working? I was like, nah, I'm gonna do this, that, the other. And we just started chatting, bro.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, he's like, what do you want? He's like, on the house, don't worry about it.
Swear to
You go in with that type of energy, bro. People feed off of it.
Wow.
And it brings
You
this-
probably made his day.
this is what I mean.
You
And this
probably
goes
made
back
his
to the
day.
time when I saw that girl on the train. You know the ones there. I don't know what you're going through, but I'm gonna come in with the good energy, because even though you might be having a bad day,
Yeah.
this interaction might make it better.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want. And I left and he was happy. He was like, good luck with what you're gonna do, bro. Wishing you all the best. I told him about the podcast. He's like, yeah, good luck with it all, man. Started having a conversation about mental health, this, that, the other. He was talking about, like, he's spoken to his dad about mental health and how the generational thing is different.
Crazy.
And he was like, my dad's the type of guy who's like, deal with it yourself. Don't ask for help, this, that, the other. And he's like, yeah, but trying to make him see it from the other side. And we just had a decent conversation, bro.
Yeah.
And on the plus side, I got a free fucking coffee.
Yeah, that is a win-win. Sounds like to me he's going through some stuff, and you were definitely the person to brighten up his day. I think everybody can learn from that.
And that's what I mean. If I was in that mindset where it's like I'm negative, I'm gonna go in there and be like, he's gonna be like, oh, how's it going? Yeah, I'm good. You?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in with that low energy, and then he's gonna feed that and be like, okay, cool, yeah, cool. There's the price. There you go. But you go in with that energy, bro. People love it, man.
Yeah, bro.
People love it because sometimes that's what they need. When I used to work in the shop, people used to come in with that energy and I'll be low, and then all of a sudden I'm in a good mood because you've come in with that energy, you've come in with that oomph that has woken me up for me to be like, bro, it's not that deep.
It's not that deep.
Why am I pissed off?
You're right.
I've been pissed off for 6 hours. You know the ones. Why am I still pissed off? Like, all I've got to do is just see it from a different perspective, or just forget about it. I can't change that.
Yeah, it's true.
I can't change what's going on. All I can do is just tackle it head on, deal with it, crack on with the day, son.
Yeah. And you know what? It takes more of your energy to be upset.
Exactly.
And to have these negative, perspectives on life or your day.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to use minimal energy and just be neutral or happy. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah, majority of the time, I'll just come home and go sleep, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, come home, go sleep, and then I'm sleeping for like fucking 12 straight hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I'm just worn out. I'm tired because I've been pissed off all day.
Yeah.
But now I come home in a good mood. Bosh. But I'm chilling.
7 hours of sleep.
Yeah, bro. 6 to 7, mate.
Yeah,
chilling.
It's crazy, bro.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nah, that's fair, man. I think a lot of people can learn from that,
100%.
I think you got to take it day by day. Of course, it's hard to come out of it.
100%.
Especially if
I'm
you're
not saying it's
very
easy.
deep in it.
Yeah. And I've been in the depths of it, bro. And I'm not saying it's easy because it's not.
Yeah.
But really just take your time to be by yourself.
Yeah.
And just, like, it always comes down to self-reflection. Just work on it and say, I'm not going to be pissed off today. Yeah. Wake up and say, today's a good day. I'm gonna tackle it head on.
Yep.
Whatever happens, I'm telling you, if something happens that you can't control, sit there for 5-10 minutes. I would say 5 so that there's less time. Rant about it to yourself. Just get pissed off about it. After that, forget about it.
Yeah.
And just say, I can't change that. Say to yourself, I can't change this. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Get on with your day and just deal with it. And I guarantee you, your outlook and your perspective will be completely different.
Yeah.
Because you've got to put yourself in other people's shoes at the same time.
Exactly. And you know what? When I was in my negative phase, when I was trying to get out of it, I'd put myself in a skits mind frame.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm upset, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
I put myself in a skits mind frame, and eventually, I just became happy.
This is how I've been the past week and a half, 2 weeks. It's just like, oh, you've sent me this message. I've got to do this. Yeah, you man a dickhead.
Yeah.
And that's them like, yeah, cool. Put my house music on. I'm vibing, bro. Yeah, I'm saying I'm in apartments, busting out a 1-2 step, singing to the top of my. It's just like, enjoy every moment.
Yeah.
But why am I getting stressed over work? That's something I can't change. I'm getting paid to do. Yo, the day's gonna end. Genuinely, it's gonna finish.
Yeah.
Time won't stop for you.
Yeah, and you're gonna finish as well.
Whoa,
Eventually.
pause.
Yeah.
You're gonna finish this episode. It's what you're gonna do. So stay locked in.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Actually,
Is it that time?
I think it's that time. Yeah.
Well, I say it's about time we wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for watching. Yeah.
We appreciate your time, your effort, your energy. Comment, like, and subscribe. We want to see it all.
Mainly the comments. We want to see some comments. We want to
see some outlandish shit, boys and
we
girls.
want to see some perspective, some odd ones, some neutral ones, some weird ones.
Let's get it going.
Yeah.
See where we're at.
But yeah, subscribe. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram, TikTok if you want to have a conversation, start a conversation with us. And yeah, we can chop it up from there. Make sure you subscribe to us on Patreon for some further content. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Love you guys.
Boo boo.